Okay, good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 6th day of Kislev. We continue the Tanya, the daily Tanya of in middle of the essay 4 of the last part of Tanya, Kuntres, Acharon. Let's begin with tzedakah, kedela tzedakah, mekarebes sageula. So, yes, this is a very long essay we started a few days ago, talking about very deep stuff. And the Alter Rebbe brings a number of explanations of what is so special about the actual physical mitzvahs that we do. And he gave a number of explanations until now. One of them was the fact that this was when you do the mitzvah, in a physical mitzvah, it is the fulfillment of God's plan, the desire that Hashem wants to have a dwelling place in this world. And that is by drawing down the godliness into the physical world. And that's what mitzvahs do. And mitzvahs connects you with the will of Hashem, the essence of Hashem. Whereas when it comes to your own feelings of love and fear of Hashem, the emotions that you have is very limited as much as a human being can achieve. And Alter Rebbe goes on to say now that there is yet other reasons, other things we find about mitzvahs, which is in a greater level. One of them he mentions now is the fact that in the physical object, there is a greater light and the source of the light in the physical object is even greater than the source of the light of the soul. What does that mean? How could that be? So there is the basic rule that the higher something is, the lower it falls. So you have a tall tower that falls down, the bricks that was on top will fall the furthest away. And this explains, says the Alter Rebbe, explains an interesting question that you may ask. Why is it that us humans, we need for our sustenance, we depend on something which is lower than us? We have in the world, you have the domim, tzamei, the inanimate objects, you have the vegetations, you have the animals, and then you have humans. Humans, in order to sustain their life, they need to receive their sustenance from things that are lower, from eating animals or vegetations, fruits and vegetables and so on. And the explanation Alter Rebbe gives, the spiritual, the deeper meaning is that there is a godly spark in the things that are lower than you. And that godly spark is greater than the godly spark that you have yourself. So let's see inside, and yet the Alter Rebbe will go on with a few more reasons. So the Alter Rebbe, V'oid zois, in addition to what we explained until now, it says, Shebe'emes habirurim, shebebriya, yetzira, asiya, meirapach, al yedei Torah u'mitzvos, b'machshava dibur u'maseh, gvoim b'shorosha minefesh ruach u'neshama sheba'adam. So the truth is that the purifications in Briya, Yetzira, and Asiya, those are the three worlds, the lower worlds, of the 288 sparks of Tohu, by means of the Torah mitzvahs that man fulfills in thought, speech, and deed, they are superior in their source to the nefesh, ruach, neshama of man that possesses the love and fear of God. Kihain, it says, these sparks that you have in the lower worlds, kihain misag shebepnimis odam kadmai, because they derive from the divine name Sag, of the internal aspect of Adam Kadmai, What does that mean? I know we're talking about Kabbalistic words over here. So I mentioned in the past, you have the godly, the names of Hashem, the Yud K Vav K, the Tetragrammaton. There's different combinations of how that name is spelled out, which represent different levels of godliness. One of them is Sag, which is comes up to a numerical value of 63. And that represents the light of the world of Tohu, the light of the world of chaos. As we mentioned in the previous lessons, this is the world that was shattered because the vessels were not capable to contain this light. And this comes from, we call it the Pnimius Adam Kadmon, the internal aspect of Adam Kadmon, primordial man, meaning the image of a godly image before this world was created. That is the source of the light of the Tohu, is in the lowest parts of this world. While the nefesh, ruach, and neshama, which is the different parts of the soul, that has already been corrected through the divine name Ma, this name issues from the forehead of Adam Kadmon, being a mere reflection of it, but not of its essence. So basically what he says, that what we have through the neshama, for the neshama itself, we have only a reflection. In the physical objects, we have the actual light, the essence of the light that fell down to the lowest levels. And when we get involved in refining them through the neshama, through the soul, because the soul has the corrective power from the name Ma, when we elevate it, then we gain that light that was too much to be contained. Now that we do a mitzvah, we are able to elevate that powerful light, and we're able to elevate it and to bring it to a correction. Hence it is written, before a king ruled over the children of Israel. This is a verse from the next Torah portion, Parshas Vayishlach. It says over there that these are the kings of Esav that ruled before the king of Israel ruled. So in the spiritual meaning of those things, of these verses, it talks about the spiritual level of the godliness before the levels of the neshamas of Israel. There was a higher, more powerful king, more powerful light. And that powerful light fell into the lowest levels. And now says the Alter Rebbe, this is what we said before, the reason why the human is nourished from something that is below him. For this reason, man is sustained by food of the inorganic, the vegetative, and living classes, and purifies them by the Ma within him. The Ma, the name Ma, that is within the man, when he eats those things with a bracha and does the right thing, he elevates those sparks, v'chai bohem, and he lives through them. How could a human live and get sustenance from something which is below him? And the answer is lefi shehem misag, because they derive from sag. They derive from sag, which is a higher, more powerful, intense light. That is why the light that they have contained within them are able to sustain the neshama. Okay? And now the Alter Rebbe goes on to say another reason. Furthermore, what is special about doing the mitzvahs of action, and why they are in a higher level than the love and the fear that the soul is able to develop on its own. The Alter Rebbe is going to explain that what can be revealed, it can only be revealed the external part of someone. What is revealed? In other words, for example, when you have a person has a deep feeling, a deep emotions, and you wanted to transmit that feeling that you have to someone else, what do? You can use words. You can use expressions to transmit what you feel. Can you really transmit the actual feeling? You can't. Sometimes it's a feeling that is so deep you cannot be explained. Only the external part is able to be transmitted. Furthermore, there is yet another reason as to why action-related mitzvahs are loftier than the soul's love and fear of Hashem. As it is written, my face, meaning my innermost dimension, my pnimius, as implied by the word panim, panim means the inner part, shall not be seen, says Hashem. This means that the inwardness of a truly higher degree cannot descend below in a revealed manner, but only the external aspect and the hin part, which are the withered vestige of the supreme wisdom. The noivles means something that is external part. It says that noivles teira, noivles chachma teira, is that the chachma, the higher level of chachma, the supernal chachma, is so high, and what can be revealed only the external part of that chachma elah, of the higher wisdom. So that is also very short thing. But Alter Rebbe says again that this is when it comes to the mitzvah is the actual will of Hashem that comes down, whereas the feeling and emotions that the neshama can develop is only considered an external part, not the inner part. And yet the Alter Rebbe brings another point. Another point, what is special about the mitzvah versus the neshama's developing of the feeling of love and fear. And what he's going to explain is that there is things that you can transmit intellect, and there is the transmission of the essence. When a student and a teacher, the teacher is transmitting to the student intellect. The teacher cannot actually create the intellect in the student. The student uses his own intellect, and he can only take something from what the teacher is teaching him. But when parents give birth to a child, the very essence of the intellect is being transmitted. And this he compares to what is called what we achieve through our emotions is only like speech. like the transmission from the teacher to the students. But when we do the mitzvah, it is a transmission of the very essence of Hashem in transmitted down here. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Oid zois, sherei adibur b'divrei chochma elo eine moinit." The verbalization, for verbalization, any phrase of the supreme wisdom does not procreate. Imparting wisdom does not create any being, something from nothing. And yet, on the other end, whereas the drop drawn from the vessel of the supreme wisdom, like the drop that derives from the Father's brain, this has the power to procreate and bring about existence ex nihilo, something from nothing. Also, a flow of the supreme wisdom is incorporated with it. And the reason is that into it there is drawn the essence and the nature of the supreme wisdom. And this is not the case with thought and speech. When you speak, you can imagine, you can speak as much as you want, and you can describe as much as you want. And even in the intellectual conception, in any field of wisdom, so this wisdom is a mere reflection that extends from the essence of intellect in the soul. Then too, this reflection is a mere garment for the very essence of the intellect. And the intellect, in turn, is but a reflection and garment for the essence of the soul. But when you're talking about birth, in the very drop that comes from the Father, you have everything, the very essence. So when you're going to talk about describing the whole process, describing an intellectual process, it can be very exciting and very difficult to achieve. And you work very hard, and they come in you, and you deliver a very deep thought. But no matter how deep and how profound you're able to deliver, you will never give birth to a new baby. But yet, in the physical act of transmitting the actual drop, brings about a creation of something real, of the essence. In contrast, there is also drawn into the drop something of the very essence of the soul, which is clothed within the brain. Hence, it begets offsprings precisely similar to itself, to the soul itself. This is the Alter Rebbe, is the difference between the angels and the neshamas, the souls. There's a concept of the angels. Angels achieve a great level of grasping and understanding and feeling the godliness. They are created from what is called a spiritual kiss. Versus the neshamas, the souls are they come from the vessels. Vessels means the lower levels, but yet in the lower levels, this has the power to bring the essence itself. That's why the soul is greater than the angels. And of course, when we're talking about the souls that are greater from the angels, the soul still requires the mitzvah, even though the soul itself comes also from the kelim, from the lower level, which brings the essence, but that is something that is not revealed, is concealed. And the mitzvah is the actual will of Hashem that is revealed in the physical objects. Says the Alter Rebbe, this is the difference between the divine service of angels, which are born of a spiritual kiss, and hence their divine service is likewise spiritual, and that of the souls which issue from the vessels that contain the element of the essence, and which thus resemble the tangible product of the seminal drop, which incorporates the entire essence of its source. However, the vessels of Atzilus become the soul of Bria Yetzirah and Asiyah, and from this soul emanate two manners of issue. The chilu urechimu sichlim hein kemalachim de neshikim. He says, therefore, intellectual love and awe are comparable to the angels that issue from the spiritual kiss, which irradiates only the external aspect of Chabad in Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. והטעם, משום דפנימיוס חוכמה בינה דס מאוסה ועצמוסה שלא יפנימי, אינו יכול להסגלוס, אלא על ידי אורס הכלים דווקא היורדים למטה. And this reason is that the innermost dimension of Chabad and the essential nature of the indwelling light, the Or Pnimi, cannot be revealed except through the radiance of the vessels that descend below. Katipas ha'adam mimaychim, as does the seminal drop of man issuing from the brain, as it is written, my face, my innermost dimension shall not be seen. So this is the few arguments that the Alter Rebbe brings here, explaining in very deep concepts of the Kabbalistic concepts, how the neshama is, even though the neshama comes also from the essence, but yet coming down to this world, the neshama is not being revealed. The only way to be revealed, the essence, is through the mitzvahs, the physical mitzvahs. And when you have this physical mitzvah, although it may be that it doesn't sound like very profound or difficult to achieve, all you do is you take a physical tefillin and you wrap around your hand, you put on your hand, you take a physical candle and you light the candle. What do? Seems like it's nothing to compare to when you achieve a very deep meditation in the greatness of Hashem. Says the Alter Rebbe explains, no, but the opposite is true. Because the meditation and all the feelings that you develop is only a reflection of the light of Hashem. That's why it says the angels, Alter Rebbe brings down, when angels are in the presence of a Jew, or it says an angel in the presence of 10 Jews, he says the angel will completely disappear, evaporate from the holiness of the neshamas, because the angels do appreciate the level of godliness that is in the neshama, except that the neshama that comes down here, it's concealed. You don't feel it, you don't sense it. So therefore, The fact that we don't sense the specialty of the mitzvahs doesn't mean anything. We are fortunate to learn and to appreciate and understand as much as we can possibly understand the greatness of the mitzvahs, that we know that doing those mitzvahs really connects us to the essence of Hashem. So we shall continue tomorrow. Thank you so much. All the best.